By early 2025, China had invested over $15 billion in its central bank digital currency, the digital yuan, or e-CNY. While the world debated Bitcoin, China was quietly building a centralized digital currency with the power to reshape global trade. Over 300 million wallets have been created, and transactions have surpassed $250 billion. This is no experiment, but a live, national-scale deployment. The digital yuan is more than a tech upgrade. It's a strategic move to boost economic control, payment efficiency, and challenge the US dollar's dominance. For decades, the dollar has been king, giving the US immense leverage. China's leadership sees the e-CNY as a way to chip away at that power, offering new rails for international commerce. The People's Bank of China has rolled out the e-CNY in phases, starting with city pilots and expanding during major events like the Beijing Winter Olympics. This careful approach allowed them to test technology and user behavior, building a robust foundation before pushing for international use. Now the infrastructure is strong enough for cross-border applications. Imagine a Brazilian exporter settling instantly with a Chinese importer. No dollar conversion, no swift delays. The digital yuan promises faster, cheaper, and more direct international payments, challenging the slow, costly correspondent banking system. China isn't just introducing a new payment method, it's proposing a new paradigm for global business, reducing friction and dependency on traditional financial intermediaries. The digital yuan isn't a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, it's a central bank digital currency, fully centralized and state-controlled. It's pegged one-to-one with the physical yuan, ensuring stability and making it suitable for daily transactions and large-scale trade. Domestically, the e-CNY lets the government regain control over payments, which have been dominated by private giants like Alipay and WeChat Pay. With e-CNY, the central bank gains direct insight into payment flows, enhancing monetary policy and combating financial crime. Internationally, the digital yuan is China's tool to internationalize the renminbi and reduce reliance on the US dollar. By making cross-border transactions easier, China hopes to encourage trading partners to use the yuan, bypassing the dollar-centric system. This reduces China's vulnerability to US sanctions and boosts its geopolitical influence. A more internationalized yuan would lower transaction costs for Chinese firms and give China more sway in global economic governance. As more trade is settled in digital yuan, China's influence over the terms of trade grows. The e-CNY is a patient, long-term play to build a parallel financial ecosystem less dependent on Western institutions. It's about shifting China's role from participant to rule-maker in the global economy. The digital yuan is a strategic lever for reshaping global finance. The digital yuan faces major hurdles in challenging the US dollar's dominance. The dollar's network effect is powerful. Everyone uses it because everyone else does. China's centralized programmable e-CNY raises concerns about surveillance and data privacy among international partners. Foreign governments worry the Chinese state could monitor every transaction or even restrict how the currency is used. China's strict capital controls are another barrier. A global currency must be freely convertible, but China tightly manages its capital account. To rival the dollar, China would need to liberalize its financial system, something it's historically resisted. The global financial infrastructure, built around the dollar, is robust and trusted. Systems like SWIFT and CHIPS are familiar and reliable, even if slower and more expensive. Convincing banks and nations to switch to a new, unproven system requires more than better tech. It demands deep trust and liquid markets. Building that trust will take decades, not years. The digital yuan uses a two-tier system. The People's Bank of China issues e-CNY to commercial banks, which then distribute it to the public. For users, it's as simple as downloading a digital wallet app. The e-CNY's real innovation is programmable money. Smart contracts can automate payments, like releasing funds only when goods arrive. This atomic settlement reduces risk, eliminates costly letters of credit, and speeds up trade. Traditional cross-border payments involve multiple banks, fees, and days of waiting. With e-CNY, a Chinese company can pay a Malaysian supplier directly, settling in seconds at a fraction of the cost. Several countries, especially those in the Belt and Road Initiative, are exploring e-CNY integration to cut costs and reduce reliance on the dollar. Projects like M-Bridge, involving Thailand and the UAE, are testing cross-border CBDC payments. For these nations, the appeal is clear: faster, cheaper trade with China. While Western countries remain cautious, many emerging economies see the digital yuan as a practical tool for efficiency. The e-CNY is already reshaping how global trade can work. The world's response to the digital yuan is split along geopolitical lines. China's economic partners, especially in the Belt and Road Initiative, are enthusiastic, seeing direct benefits for trade. The US and its allies are wary, fearing the e-CNY could bypass sanctions and threaten data privacy. Many swing states like Brazil and Saudi Arabia are pragmatically testing the yuan for trade, seeking economic advantage without picking sides. Their choices will shape the digital yuan's global reach. International institutions like the IMF and BIS are studying CBDCs, aiming to set standards and avoid financial fragmentation. The digital yuan is forcing a global rethink of how money moves across borders. The mBridge project in late 2024 showcased the digital yuan's global potential. Central banks from China, Hong Kong, Thailand, and the UAE used a shared platform to settle real cross-border payments in seconds, not days. Transaction costs dropped by up to 50% compared to traditional banking. This wasn't theory. It was a real-world test of a non-dollar-based settlement system. The success of mBridge emboldened other countries to accelerate CBDC research and consider joining similar platforms. It proved that a multipolar currency world is technologically feasible. The project signaled a shift from a dollar-centric system to one where regional hubs connect directly. This could reconfigure global trade flows and financial power. The digital yuan is now the anchor of a potential new global financial architecture. The digital yuan is more than a tech upgrade. It's a strategic tool reshaping global finance. By enabling faster, cheaper cross-border payments, it challenges the dollar's dominance, especially in Asia and among Belt and Road nations. Programmable money will revolutionize trade finance, automating processes and reducing risk. As adoption grows, the e-CNY sets new standards for efficiency and security, forcing others to adapt. The rise of the digital yuan creates a new fault line in global finance: China and its partners versus the US and its allies. Competing digital currency blocks could fragment the system, creating new economic rivalries. The next decade will determine how far the e-CNY spreads, depending on China's reforms and the West's response. One thing is clear: the digital yuan has started a global conversation about the future of money. The digital yuan's rise isn't just for policymakers, it will affect us all. As money becomes digital and programmable, it will change how we save, spend, and interact with governments and businesses. Weigh the benefits of instant payments against concerns about privacy and control. Staying informed is key to navigating this financial revolution. What do you think? Is the digital yuan a force for innovation or a tool for control? Join the conversation and shape the future of money.